Hey Aquarius, welcome to your full moon in Capricorn read. I'm going to pull some quick reads for my 5 signs here. So I wanted to get some fresh energy the night before. So hence I'm doing this now, and then I'll jump into your weeklies, which I will which will take place tomorrow. But this is something to kind of give a precursor in terms of this full moon, because there's a tight aspect between Mars and Neptune during this time, and we're just going to see what it plays out for you and what messages wants to come out. So let's dive in. All right, let's take a look because I want to see what comes out for Aquarius in terms of this full moon, and these are things coming to fruition. So everything that you've worked up to this particular moment, this could show up to what you have accomplished up to this point. I think there's a lot of opportunity for you to move beyond your greater, you're pushing through the boundaries a little bit more than you had used to. And I think that you're finding it easier to do that. All right. So you can kind of be very direct and assertive, but you can do it, Aquarius, without being bossy or rude. And then you're incredibly admired for a lot of your honesty and sincerity through that process. So let's dive in and take a look. So what does Aquarius need to know most during this full moon? What wants to come out for you here? I'm going to actually pull these cards here. These are just, perhaps the astro cards, and we're going to see what interpretations that want to come out for Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know most with this full moon? Spirit, what does Aquarius need to know most during this time? What do we get during this full moon that is most important for Aquarius? Whoa, okay. So interesting. Too many cards here, but let's go ahead and do another shuffle here. Give me just one card here that wants to come out for Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know most? All right, during this full moon. Wow. Well, I'm going to take them all. So we're just going to do this, and then whatever comes out is going to be very, very key. All right. So what do we get over here? So we got self and identity, which is really interesting. And I feel that there is a lot of growth that is happening here, really focusing in on that first house energy of growth and then being connected to the universe and that type of thing. And it really stems from your heart. And I feel that you are, I think with this Neptune, with the moon sextiling Neptune during this full moon, that you're more sensitive and maybe more compassionate and more sympathetic. So you could be more in touch with your feelings and connect more deeply with yourself and hence with loved ones. So I even think that even relationships with others, love or otherwise, are really going to become a lot more spiritual and a lot more, tender with each other. Okay. But one thing that's really interesting is that kind of like the stars are enlightening up here. And I feel that this is coming through in terms of your creativity. It's reaching a high point. Okay, so this is a really great time for you, Aqua, to do some meditation. All right, this is ideal for that, and even focusing in on your spirituality and any sort of occult activities are going to really be helpful. And just know that there is a lot of growth that is happening here for you. So I like seeing this because, this is that first house energy. And it's like the first thing that pops up is like, okay, well, we're going to be focusing in on everything that has to do with yourself and identity. But I do get there is a greater sense of belonging. So if you're in a connection with someone, there's a greater sense of belonging. Now that could be, with a romantic partner or with your family or friends or just a wider collective community that's going to help. Okay. And you're also going to get, there is something growing here, in terms of that first house. It's being born again, but you're bringing your experience with that. So everything that you've learned up to this point has shined that wisdom. I feel that this is like perfect for the star card too, because there's so many stars surrounding this as well. So, I feel that you have eliminated a lot of destructive habits and you're more connected to the universe and with those around you. And, any sort of destructive habits or any sort of obsessions or compulsions, it's like you're aware of that. You're aware of that now. Okay. But you are making the change and you're having the courage to take that first step, first house, move forward. And it has everything to do with you. It has everything to do with you moving forward and trusting your instincts. Okay. Now, the next card that I get is Lilith, which is your wild femininity. And this is interesting because I feel that during this time, that you are more spiritual, but this is also being independent. You're connecting with your sexuality, and you're connecting and sharing your passionate desires. All right. So it's kind of like where before you might have been reluctant to share how you felt about anything. You've got this wild femininity within you. It's kind of like, well, screw that. It is what it is, and I am what I am, and I'm unapologetically being exactly who I am, and I'm strong enough to let people know how I feel, because I'm stronger in me. And that's what I'm getting. It's kind of like this full moon that's coming through, right? and that's what I'm feeling. So I feel that this is an opportunity for you to kind of capitalize on this. You are really, your morals and ethics are going to guide you towards kind of the actions that you need to take, but you're a lot more sensitive, not only to yourself, but you're sensitive of the desires of others. And for some of you, you might be enjoying just being of service to others, right? So that could be coming into play in what you do in your work or whatever that is. But you've got a lot of sensual desire around you and a lot of a magnetic attraction, okay? And that's because also during this full moon, Mars is sextile within Neptune. So this is all about an opportune time for a passionate romance. So whether you're looking or not, or maybe you're doing something that's really super passionate, that could be the case as well. Okay. So, but that is an opportunity for, you've got this healing energy, and then you've also got, kind of that passionate side of you. And both of those together are really helpful. And with all the spiritual development that you've done, Aqua, you might even find your soulmate during this time. So this is all about that soothing and healing energy that you've gone through, that is also going to help your relationships around you. It shifts your energy, all right? And again, it's really also focusing in on creative passions that are going to be very key. Now, the other card that I get here is limits and lessons, all right? So, with Saturn coming through here. So this is really interesting because during this time, something's been mirrored to you in some sort of way, okay? It's kind of like, it's like the opposition of the full moon is almost like the interface between life and death, or maybe the mirror is reflecting your soul, and you're understanding the lessons that you've gone through, but also the limits of where you're at. So you have come better in terms of your boundaries, and this is about, you are focusing in on, not having tons of conflicts anymore. It's about, it's about really focusing in on the new meaning of what this lesson has taught me, and the limits that I need to place on my life moving forward now, or in a connection or in a situation. So it's just about, really focusing in on encouraging you to open your heart with all this optimism, and you're living in harmony because you've learned the lessons, and now you're placing better limits, whether it is in romance, whether it is in the work that you do. You are really focusing in on taking care of yourself, all right? You're taking care of yourself through this process, right? So, I think that if there was any vulnerability, you're just channeling that into your creativity, and that's going to really, really help too, okay? So interesting, but that's what I'm getting. All right. So it's also about there could be about, focusing in on security and protection. And that's what these limits also represent, is that, my self and identity comes first, right? And yes, I love my creative side, and I'm going to continue to go towards my passions, but I've learned that put some limits because of the lessons that I learned. And Saturn teaches us those lessons, right? So Saturn, really just talks about all of that. Yeah, it's kind of moving in that direction. So this is quite interesting. All right. So I'm going to pull some tarot on this, and we're going to see what comes through for you. So let's go ahead and pull some moon cards on you, and let's take a look and see what else comes out. Okay. But very interesting, guys. Note your comments, like, and subscribe. Let me know if this resonates with you in any way. All right, let's take a look. What needs to come up for Aqua during this time? What's most important for Aquarius during this full moon? All right, so, okay. And then give me one more for Aquarius. What comes through for Aquarius during this full moon in Capricorn during this time with this fresh energy? It's kind of like this wants to come out with it, so I'm going to take it. So let's take a look at what we've got here, okay? So let's just put these over here. You can kind of see them a little bit. Let me see here. Yeah, move them over here. So you got that. All right. And then what do we have here? Okay. And then give me 2 more that we have here. Wow. Oh my gosh. Interesting. You know, you're passionately moving forward. I think within yourself, you're passionately moving forward on your adventures and what it is that you want. This is fire energy. This is so interesting. I see that feather, and today I was even at the gym and I saw a white feather and I picked it up. So for some of you, you could have maybe found something, or got a feather in your cap, and you're kind of moving forward. This is progressively moving forward in some sort of way. So yeah, I feel that this is an opportunity for you to kind of push forward, and I feel passionate towards what it is that you want, and you could be focusing in on like it's kind of like this. It's I almost feel that this is an opportunity, like to balancing out the roller coaster of energies. So that could have been within your self house and identity, because there's a lot of star and galaxy, kind of going through the glittering of the galaxy and balancing out the roller coaster of life, and it's following under your self and first house of identity. So this could be that you are being expressed, like you need to work out how you will manage kind of the energies, the polar energies, the light and the dark, it's kind of all of that. Okay. And it is about balancing the extremes of energy. Okay. So why is this important? Why is this important for Aquarius? Let's just take a look and see what we got. Why is this important for Aquarius? Yeah, because it's about you're a leader in what you do. And this is about having sovereignty over yourself. This is having authority over yourself as you passionately move forward towards your passions and towards your dreams, and being able to balance something out. It's kind of like when we got this card here, it's limits and lessons, right? So it's, taking what you've learned and the wisdom that you've learned here. And this is about focusing in on, just focusing in on being crystal clear of this, crystal clear of a single wand. It's been interesting because this is the first house, and this is the Knight of Wands has one wand here that's coming through here, and it is it brings into your life an opportunity to balance out the roller coaster of self and gain sovereignty over your life. And this is what I feel that is happening to you. And I feel that you finally reached that point during this time. All right. Now, you did get the Hermit card in terms of the wild femininity. And so, with that coming through here, I feel that this is an opportunity for you to kind of go within and have that introspection, and focus in on how you want to move forward. That's Virgo energy. And I feel that you had to kind of surrender to something within the moment. You surrender to that part of yourself, and you're kind of rowing in the direction that is of calmness to you. But you had to shine the light on something and go in a deep introspection before moving forward. That's either with another, or that you had to surrender something, and you had to go deep inside to figure out what that was. It was something that maybe you didn't want to do, but you found yourself, you know what? This is the best thing, that I have to do this for myself. If I don't, I know I'm going to regret it. And so you had to make a difficult choice in terms of going on something that you just needed to give up. Now, this could be a way of living, a way of thinking, that could have been anything of the sort that wanted to come through. Okay. So with that in mind, let's take a look and see if anything wants to come out for Aquarius in that. Anything that wants to come out for Aquarius to show exactly what they had to surrender. And you know what that is for you, Aqua. We're just going to go ahead and see what the cards say. Surrendering that you're not enough. See, guys, you've surrendered that. I feel that you've really worked your tail end off on this, all right? And you have reached that point where you've kind of moved beyond that, okay, at this moment. So I feel that it's an opportunity to harmonize, just like the full moon is. There's this harmonious, Mars and Neptune aspects to create something positive, creative and passionate, and have that healing energy. And I feel that you've got that healing energy. And maybe you had to surrender a relationship, or you're surrendering that ego or self-sabotage or any sort of jealousy or lack of confidence in oneself. You've surrendered to that. And it's almost as if like, what if you were enough? And you were looking at that and you're thinking, well, geez, I am. I am, so for those of you questioning that, that's something that was coming through. So I feel that you had to surrender that you're not enough, and that's done. Okay. And what do I get? You recognize what a gift that you are. It was a gift. And here comes the sun, right? So it's interesting because the sun is coming right over here and it's blossoming. And it's because you surrendered something, you got a special gift. So some of you, it was that you were not enough. And whatever what made you think that, whether it was upbringing, it was all that you knew growing up, maybe that was mirrored to you or reflected upon you as growing up, but you've surrendered to that. And that's what this full moon is all about, is coming to an end and in a successful completion in some sort of way. So that's what I'm getting. And then when I get here, I get the 10 of moons, which is the 10 of cups. So this is happiness and fulfillment. You've overcome some sort of obstacle, and then you're able to come out on the other side. And this is a long-term happiness. It was hidden. I get the moon card. So it's kind of like that something was hidden, but you kind of saw the holes in the situation, and something was brought to light in some sort of way. So it's interesting that we get kind of the moon here, and then we get, kind of the 10 of moons coming through here. So, I mean, it's beautiful. And I feel that this is an opportunity for you to finally reach that point where you're at, where you have hit some sort of point where you're like, my gosh, I have finally feel a sense of happiness at this moment. And I am really confident in terms of moving forward that I've reached this. This is about everything's lining up in the night sky, right? So it's all lining up for this full moon here, right? It's brought to light. And some of you could be bringing your crystals, in terms of the moonlight and perhaps re-energizing and cleansing that. But this is about a loving omen, here. It's electric, it's happiness, harmony, it's respect, it's connection. And this is all about the good and the whole in your life. So it's kind of like maybe you follow the aspects of the moon to overcome obstacles, and now you're shining the light on this, and your limits and lessons, right? This is from the lessons you gave them the wisdom, and and from the lessons you've learned to overcome some sort of obstacle. So now there's your limits on this. Okay, there's some sort of limits on this. What else comes through? What do we get? Yeah, there is a change, a transformative change. You've actually kind of, you kind of released, the old way of Aquarius being, and the change is already happened. The transformation has taken place. And now what do you get? A different perspective. There's a change in perspective on what you feel brings long-term happiness to you, okay? And it's only because you've gone through some limits and you've gone through some lessons that made you that much wiser. So what you couldn't see before has kind of been brought to light, and that transformative experience brought in a new, perspective. All right. So this is what I feel that's coming through. Quite interesting. Anything more in terms of perspective that is important for Aquarius during this full moon, Reed? Yeah, it's kind of like there was a change that you're making in your life, and you could have been maybe that you were focusing a lot on the past, like at camera, all right, camera, and maybe perhaps that you have had some sort of separation within a connection or situation, or you got caught up in something that wasn't for you, and it made you think about the past memories. And for some of you, that it was stuck, and maybe you were wearing some sort of mask. All right, now there's no longer pretending. Now it could have been someone around you was pretending. That could have been the case. It's where you learned a lesson. All right. So all I'm saying here is that all the masks have been revealed. There is no more of, it's kind of like, it's about someone wasn't showing their true feelings. Now, whether that is you or another person, you know where you stand in terms of that. But it's kind of like there's no more pretending. It's like the universe took the mask off no matter what. All right. So that's what I feel that's happening. And what do I get? Yeah, and you went through the beautiful healing during that time. And hence we got that, Virgo energy of that introspection. And your time in solitude is what's really brought you and you've had those fox instincts here, and I feel that you got the connection that you needed. It's like spirit and your source, whatever that is, that connection. Realize that even in solitude, you're never alone, and you used your instincts to connect with spirit to actually see this and know that you needed to surrender something so you could actually move forward. So what is spirit's advice as we go through this moving forward? Is there any advice? We'll pull the cards on the moon cards and see what comes out. Any final advice for Aquarius? This is interesting, guys. I just know that you're on such, to get the 10 of Cups coming through there, and you don't know what's ahead, but what you do know is the wisdom that you've gained from this experience, and that time in solitude paid off, and your connection to your source, whatever that is for you, paid off beautifully. All right. All right. So let's see what comes through. What do we get is important for you? I enjoy the serendipity of life. The unexpected can be wonderful. Right. So you don't know what's coming ahead, but you do know that that is there. Right. And you have the power, and it is real, right? So you have the power. This is the full moon card. How interesting that you got that. So you have the power, and it is real. So this is the power to make the change and to be all that you want to see during this time, right? And every day I focus in on what is important. All right. So, really keep that in mind, guys. All right. This is about nourishing yourself and enriching your life, learning a big lesson here, and coming forth and with a new beginning, but with a lot of wisdom and experience. You're not where even if you're starting over, you're starting over with all that wisdom and experience that you didn't have before. So this is what I'm getting. Guys, note your comments, like, and subscribe. Enjoy the full moon, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.